To study about the weather system. So to mainly study the weather system, you have to study about the wind system. So you should know about the wind system. Okay, where are these winds originating and where are they merging with each other? Okay, so this is very important to study when we are studying the weather system. So now let's start the study of the winds. So if you see, you will find that the earth is divided by various latitudes. We know that the earth is divided by various latitudes, that is the imaginary lines. The latitudes are the horizontal lines which are imaginary, which we have drawn on earth. So the first line, the first latitude, we know that is equator, and it is at the 0 degrees. Okay, equator is at 0 degrees and it is dividing the earth into two hemispheres, north and south. Now in the north hemisphere, you will find there is an latitude which is at the 30 degrees. Okay, and same position, and here you will find 30° south. Again, if you go forward, you will find the 60° north and 60° south. Now when we are studying about this weather system and the wind system, at this time you need to remember the positions of this latitudes, that is the 0° equator, then 30° north as well as 30° south, then 60° north and 60° south. Okay, because when we study about this winds, it is very important that the latitudes are in front of us. Okay, so now first we will study about the directions of the wind. So you need to remember one thing, that in the north hemisphere and in the south hemisphere, the winds get deflected towards their right side in the north and in the left side in the south. Okay, so whenever winds are blowing in the northern hemisphere, they will always get deflected towards their right side, and whenever the winds are blowing in the southern hemisphere, they will always get deflected towards their left side, and this is due to the Coriolis force. Okay, this is due to the Coriolis force. Now what is this Coriolis force? So this Coriolis force is the force which is acting on earth due to the earth's rotation. Now you know that the earth is rotating around its own axis and it takes around 24 hours. So this rotation, due to this rotation, the Coriolis force is generated. Okay, due to this rotation, the Coriolis force is generated, and because of this Coriolis force in the northern hemisphere, the winds will always get deflected towards the right side. Okay, how? For example, if in the northern hemisphere, if the wind is blowing in this direction, due to the Coriolis force, it will get deflected towards its right side. Now remember, the right side of the wind, it is not our right side, but the right side of the wind. Okay, so the right side of the wind is this, and it has got deflected towards the right side in the northern hemisphere. Similarly, if it is originating from this point and it is going from this direction, due to the Coriolis force, it will again get deflected to its right side. Now here you need to remember that again I am telling you again and again that the direction of the wind, that is the right side of the wind, not our right side, okay, but the right side of the wind. So if the wind was blowing in this direction, this is the right side of the wind, and again if the wind was going in this direction, this is the right side of the wind. Okay, so remember always, in the northern hemisphere, it will always get deflected in the right side. Same thing is in the southern hemisphere. It will always get deflected towards its left. For example, the wind was blowing in this direction. It will get deflected towards its left. And what is the left side of this wind? It is this. Okay. So in the south hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, the wind will always get deflected to the left side. Same thing if the origin of the wind is this and it is going in this direction, it will get deflected towards its left side, and the left side of this wind is this. Okay, so I think the Coriolis force is clear. In the northern hemisphere, the Coriolis force deflects the wind in the right side, and in the southern hemisphere, the Coriolis force deflects the wind in the left side. Now, here is an example. Now, if you see this 30-degree latitude in the north and 30-degree latitude in the south, you will find that the winds are originating at these 2 points. Okay, the winds are originating at these 2 latitudes and they are blowing towards equator. Okay, the winds are blowing towards equator, but due to the Coriolis force in the northern hemisphere, the winds are getting deflected towards its right side, and here you can see this is the direction. So here you can see the winds originated in this point, but due to the Coriolis force, they got deflected towards their right side instead of their original path. Okay, so this was the original path, but they got deflected to the right side in the northern hemisphere. The same thing with the southern hemisphere. The wind originated at this point and it started to blow, but it got deflected in the left side and its direction changed. So the direction is changed due to the Coriolis force, and both the winds which started to blow from the northern hemisphere as well as from the southern hemisphere both meet each other at equator, and this area is called as ITCZ, Intertropical Convergence Zone. Okay, so ITCZ is the area where the winds merge from the southern hemisphere as well as the northern hemisphere. Okay, ITCZ is the area where the winds merge from the northern hemisphere as well as the southern hemisphere. Now, one thing you need to remember about the Coriolis force is that the Coriolis force is lower at the equator. Okay, this is the equator, and at the equator it is the lowest, but at the polar areas it is the highest. Okay, now at the equator the Coriolis force is the lowest, and at the polar areas the Coriolis force is the highest. Now what does this mean? When the Coriolis force is the lowest, at that time it will deflect the wind very slightly, but at the polar areas the Coriolis force is higher, and this means that at the polar areas the Coriolis force will deflect the winds very sharply. Okay, so here you will see that the winds are deflected very slightly, but in the polar areas they are deflected very sharply. In the equator they are deflected very slightly, but in the polar areas they are deflected very sharply. Why? Because at the equator the Coriolis force is low, and the poles the Coriolis force is high. So this is clear about the winds. The winds are originating at the 30-degree north and 30-degree south, and they are blowing towards the equator, and they are converging with each other at the ITCZ, that is the Intertropical Convergence Zone. But why are these winds originating? Why are these winds originating actually? Okay, so to study this, we need to study a diagram. Okay, we will study the flow of the wind, the blow of the winds, and why are these winds actually originating. So before we study the origin of the winds, one thing we need to know is that whenever the air, we have actually studied this in our previous lesson also, but I am explaining it again. Whenever the air is heated, it will become low. That is, its weight will be very low, but whenever the air is cool, its weight will be high. This basic concept you should remember. Okay, this is a very basic concept which you need to remember. And remember one thing, the air blows from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, so whenever the air is cool, it will have the high pressure, and when the air is having high pressure, it will blow towards the low pressure. Okay, so this is the basic thing. Now what happens at equator is the temperature is high at equators. Okay, here is the equator, and at the equator the temperature is very high, and when the temperature is high, now we have just studied the temperature is high, that means the air will be heated, and when the air is heated, that means the air will be low in the weight. Okay, when the air is low in weight, at that time it will expand and it will rise above. Okay, the heated air will rise above. Why? Because at the equator we know that the temperature is very high, the sun rays are falling at 90 degrees, so the air will rise. Okay, the air will rise and it will reach up to the tropopause. So here you can see the air is rising and it is reaching the tropopause. Now what is tropopause? Now we have studied the tropopause when we were studying about the structure of atmosphere. At that time we studied that the tropopause is the boundary line of the troposphere and the stratosphere. So it is the outer boundary of the troposphere. Troposphere is the lowest layer of the atmosphere. Okay, so this red line, this is actually the boundary of the troposphere. So when the heated air, it is reaching the tropopause, that time it will not be able to go above this tropopause. It cannot go above this tropopause. Okay, so it will have to get deflected. So it will get deflected in both sides. It will get deflected in this side also, in the right side also, and it will get deflected in the left side also. Okay, so now the air has got deflected. So when the air, and when one thing we know, when the air is rising above, okay, and it is getting heated and it is rising above, so after reaching a point, it will lose its heat. Okay, it will lose its heat and it will get cooled down. Now we have just studied that when the air is cool, at that time it will become heavy. It will be high in temperature, high in weight. So when at this time the air reaches the tropopause, it will lose its heat and it will cool down. And when the air will cool down, it has reached this 30° north latitude. Okay, and it has reached the 30° north latitude, and at the same time it has cooled down. So now it will start going down. That means it will start to fall down again. Okay, so in this way it will go down at 30° north, and here a area will be created of high pressure. Why? Because the air which is coming from the upward side, it is cool, it has cooled down and it is coming down. So we know that the air which is cool, it will create a high pressure. So at the 30 degrees north latitude, it will create a high pressure area, that is the subtropical high area. So this is the high pressure area, and here equator, this is the low pressure area. Why? Because here the temperature is high, the winds were getting, the air was getting heated and it was going outside. So here is the low pressure area. Here, because of the sinking of the cold air, the high pressure area is created. And when here the high pressure is created, here the low pressure is created. So we know that the air blows from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, so again the wind will start to move from high pressure to the low pressure. So these are the winds which we find that are blowing from the 30-degree north towards the equator, and generally we call them as the northeast trade winds. Northeast trade winds. Okay, and in the same thing is happening in the southern hemisphere also. Here also the air got raised and it reached up to the 30-degree, and again it sank down. It created a high pressure area, and again from this high pressure area the wind started to go towards the equator. Okay, so here also the southeast trade winds, will find the southeast trade winds. Okay, so this cell is created. Okay, so this is a cell which is created. Here the air is rising, going up, and again when it is cooling down, it is coming down. Okay, so this is a cell which is created, and this cell is called as Hadley cell. Now again, if you go towards the pole, you will find that at the poles the pressure is high. Why? Because the air in the poles is very cool, and we know that when the air is cool, it is high weight and the pressure is high. Okay, so here you will find the pressure is high. So now here you will find that the air which is blowing from, and here you will find, but at the 60-degree north you will find that the pressure is low. So in the North Pole the pressure is high. Why? Because the air is cool compared to the 60 degrees. Okay, so here the air is warm. Okay, so in the poles we know that the air is cool, and at the 60-degree north we see that the air is warm compared to the poles. It will heat up and it will start moving upwards, and again it will go backwards. Okay, so this will give a rise to a cell, and this cell is called as polar cell. Okay, so here you have seen the two cells are rising. The heat in the equator also you have seen that the air got heated up, it went up, it cooled down, and it started to sink, and this created this Hadley cell. And here same thing happened. The polar areas which had the cool air, it started to blow towards the warmer area at the 60-degree north. Again it rised up, it started getting heated, rise up, and this created the polar cell. Okay, but what about the Ferrel cell? So Ferrel cell, you will find that as the high pressure area is created, as at the 60-degree north, you will find that the low pressure area is created. As we know that the air is warm, the low pressure area is created, and we know that the air flows from high pressure to low pressure. So here you know that at 30-degree north you have high pressure area, and at 60-degree north you have low pressure area. So wind will start to blow from high pressure to low pressure, and when it reaches the low pressure it will rise up, again cool down, again go down. Okay, so this will create a cell which is called as Ferrel cell. So these are the winds at the surface level. If you see, these are the winds which are flowing. Okay, these are the winds which are blowing in different directions. So these are the winds which we call as northeast trade winds in the northern hemisphere. So now generally we are talking about the northern hemisphere. Okay, so this is northern hemisphere, and in the northern hemisphere you will find this trade winds, and in the 30-degree to 60-degree you will find this westerlies, Okay, and at the polar you will find this polar winds. So here is the representation. Here you will find these are the northeast trade winds which were blowing from the 30° north towards the equator, and same thing, the westerlies were flowing from 30° north towards the 60° north latitude, and the polar easterlies were blowing from poles to the 60° north latitude. Okay, and same thing in the southern hemisphere also. So this is all about the weather system, the winds which are blowing. So here you need to remember the names: the Hadley sail, which is between the 30° north and the 0°; Ferrel sail, which is between the 30° and 60°; and polar sail, which is between the polar and the 60 degrees. Okay, and it is same in the southern hemisphere also. You will find the Hadley sail here, all the Ferrel sail here and the polar sail here. Okay, so in the southern hemisphere also you will find the same thing. So this is all about the weather system. In our next lesson, we are going to study about the water in the atmosphere. Okay, we will study